Welcome to the Salesforce jungle. It's this vibrant, exciting, and pretty complex ecosystem, right? Today, we're going to find the real path to AI. And spoiler alert, it requires some careful cultivation, not just chasing shiny objects on the horizon. Let's get into it.
You know, everyone sees that promise of AI shimmering out there in the distance. It's compelling, it's revolutionary, we all feel it. But here's the thing, the future isn't some destination you can just parachute into. The journey, the actual path you take to get there, that's what really truly matters.
And that shimmering horizon? It's got a name, Agentforce. Right now, every single keynote, every roadmap session, it's all buzzing with the promise of these intelligent AI agents that are going to transform how we work. And the excitement is absolutely real. Salesforce has even gone and renamed its Revenue Cloud to Agentforce Revenue Management, just to show how all in they are on this AI-driven focus. But here's the key thing to remember. While the name has definitely changed, the foundational technology, the engine that's running your entire revenue lifecycle, is still the same.
And this is where we hit this massive gap. The promise of AI is way up there in the clouds, but down here on the jungle floor, teams are still wrestling with some very real, very tangible problems. We're talking about tangled quotes, messy product catalogs, and billing that just, it doesn't do what you expect it to do.
So, to really understand why this is so critical, let's talk about the river of revenue. Think of it like this powerful river that flows right through the heart of our Salesforce jungle. When that river is healthy, the entire ecosystem just thrives.
But for a lot of organizations, the banks of that river are just overgrown. It's a tangled mess of old pricing rules, legacy exceptions, and all these workarounds that have been piling up for years. These are the deep, tangled roots that make navigating so difficult.
And the result of all that? Well, it's chaos. When that underlying structure is a mess, that powerful river of revenue becomes totally unpredictable. It's flooding in some places, it's running dry in others. You just can't build anything lasting on that kind of unstable ground.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. AI is not a miracle worker. It's a multiplier. So, if you point an AI agent at a clear, stable process, it's going to multiply that clarity and efficiency beautifully. But if you point it at chaos, it's only going to multiply the inconsistency, and it'll do it at a speed you can't even imagine.
So this brings us to the hero of our story, the cultivator. These are the guides who really get it. They understand that a healthy, thriving jungle ecosystem needs care, it needs discipline, and it absolutely needs structure before you can even think about hitting the accelerator.
You can really see two completely different paths here. You've got the explorer, who's just frantically rushing toward that shiny AI object, totally ignoring the unstable ground right under their feet. Then you have the cultivator. They take a totally different approach. They stabilize the environment first. They reinforce the bridges, they clear the paths, so they can move forward with absolute confidence.
And hey, this isn't just some vague philosophy. It's a practical four-step path. First, simplify your revenue model. That means you gotta resist the urge to migrate every single legacy exception. Instead, focus on a clean, standard process. Second, lean into the industry cloud data model. It provides that much-needed context and structure. Third, you have to treat revenue as the critical Tier 1 system it is, not some afterthought. And finally, you got to invest in proper disciplined quality assurance. Which brings us to our next point.
Okay, so for our fourth section, let's ask, how does a cultivator actually maintain the health of this super complex jungle? Well, they rely on disciplined scouting. They don't just hope the paths are clear, they actively check them. And that is the role of structured testing and QA. I mean, think about it. The Salesforce environment is constantly changing. The seasons shift 3 times a year with major releases. So trying to manually check every single path after every single change, that is a high-stakes gamble you are almost guaranteed to lose.
And this is where reliable Scout, automated testing, comes in. Now, this isn't about replacing people. It's about giving them an essential tool. It's what tests the strength of new features, it runs regression tests after every release to check for any damage, and maybe most importantly, it confirms that the river of revenue is flowing exactly as it should, from quote all the way to cash. Using Salesforce native tools for this is like giving your Scout a reliable map and compass to navigate the terrain.
All right, our final section. After all this careful work, all this cultivation and scouting, what's the payoff? Well, you get a whole new perspective.
You get this clear, stable view from high above the canopy, where the path to the future is finally actually visible.
This timeline just illustrates that journey perfectly. The sequence is so logical. First, you stabilize and modernize your revenue cloud. Next, you anchor your business in an industry cloud. Then, you build a real automated regression strategy. And only after all of that is done can you bring Agentforce into a reliable, predictable landscape.
Let's be really clear about this. The cultivator's path, it's less flashy than the demos. It definitely doesn't have that same immediate wow factor. But it is the only path that actually delivers sustainable, long-term results. It's the difference between building your house on solid bedrock versus building it on sand.
So I'll leave you with a simple question to guide your own journey, a question you should be asking in every single strategic conversation you have. Would you, right now, trust an AI agent to operate inside your quote-to-cash process tomorrow? If your honest answer is not yet, then you already know exactly where you need to start focusing.